Good morning, you guys. Today, what we're going to do, moms, is I want to help you understand whether or not you have a deep feeling child. What is a deep feeling child? How do I know if my kid is just stubborn or strong-willed or highly sensitive or spirited or dramatic or too sensitive? And so in this talk today, I'm going to explain to you some of the traits, some of the qualities of a deep feeling child. And I'm going to give you 2 parenting strategies that definitely do not work, that you don't want to do if this is who your kid is, okay? Whether your child is a teenager or a 5-year-old, you're going to need to know these so that you can avoid these pitfalls. These are mistakes a lot of people make who grew up being parented in a more traditional way. A lot of you in this group are trying to heal past wounds. You're trying to rewrite the story for yourself. You're trying to parent your children or your child in a way that's very different from how you were parented. And I'm here to help you to do that by, number 1, understanding some of the places that you are using a strategy that is not a match for the child you have. And number 2, what's going to work instead? And we're going to talk about that today too, okay? Welcome. I'm Honor. I'm a marriage and family therapist and coach of 20 years plus, and have been helping moms in my Awaken Motherhood program, which I founded about 10 years ago, to overcome these barriers, these obstacles in parenting the kid that they have, the children that they have, in a way that is loving, that is connected, and that helps their kiddos thrive without sacrificing yourself, your well-being in the process. Got it? Let's dive in. Okay. So you know you have a deep feeling child if, just reading here my notes, I'm off my laptop. I know the sound isn't great. I'm just trying to be as loud as I can so that you guys can hear me. You can ask questions throughout these live broadcasts. You can ask for clarification if you need it, or for something more, for a resource, and I'll point you in the right direction, okay? So you know you have a deep feeling child if everything is more intense. Everything with them is more intense, it seems like, than it needs to be. Their feelings, their opinions, their fears, everything is just cranked up a couple more notches. If it feels like they say everything is your fault, they blame really easily, they have a negative kind of preset outlook, that can be really frustrating as a parent. Okay, if they have trouble winding down at night, or they don't sleep well, or they were clingy when they were younger, they fight you on things and push you away. Some of these kids are really anxious. Deep feeling kids have a lot of anxiety. Things are really scary in the world. If you take your size of fear, or the average size of fear a normal person walks through life with, who mostly life is going okay for them, a deep feeling kid will take that off the charts. Be so scared of things that you just know aren't really a real possibility or problem for them. But deep feeling kids feel things very strongly, very intensely. And that kind of rules their world. The feelings or the emotions rule their behaviors, their communications, their choices. Okay, following so far? Transitions can be really hard. Deep feeling kids have a tough time going from one place to another place, one task to another task. They fight you on the directions you give them because they're not ready to make that change yet. Okay, you probably don't see it this way as a mom, but that's what's going on inside, okay? They blame, I said before, they get negative, and the big telltale sign is they have meltdowns, they have emotional outbursts, and they argue with you. They may even instigate arguments with their siblings. They are prickly a lot of the times. You know what I mean when I say that? Irritable. As younger kids who don't work out their emotions turn into teenagers, and all those emotions spill over into depression, that's going to look like irritability, grumpiness, bad attitude. Often that's a sign of depression for teenagers. Can be for adults too. These kids have a hard time calming down when they get upset. Now, we probably have some deep feeling adults in the room here. We probably have some deep feelers, deep feeling kids who grew up without the help that you needed to be able to understand yourself, how you tick, how to move through your emotions, what to do with all of these big, intense feelings. Where's the dial? How do I find the dial? How do I turn down the dial? Anybody here, raise your hand if that is where you come from. That's where you're coming from. You kind of been flying blind into adulthood, not knowing where to put all these intense things that you feel, or being talked out of being like that from other people, family, friends. So raise your hand if that's you. I want to know. Okay, so how do you help your child function in the world, succeed, be successful in school, make good grades, choose good friends, make good decisions, not fall into the wrong crowd or get into dangerous activities, high-risk behaviors, we call them. And how do you do this with a deep feeling kid without killing your relationship with them? That's what parents do. That's what happens. Parents try so hard. If you're a perfectionist and a people pleaser, this is going to be how it goes for you. You'll try so hard to connect with, to help, to support your kid who's a deep feeler, who's intense. You'll try so hard to help them learn to deal with their feelings so that they don't get embarrassed out in the world, or they don't have bad behaviors that publicly humiliate them or you. And moms will try so hard with these kids in a way that absolutely crushes the relationship. It crushes the trust. It causes a big disconnect and a shutting down. That's not what you mean to do, but it is what happens all the time. And I see it all the time. So here's 2 ways that you can make that mistake. And I'm going to tell them to you so that you can know what not to do. If you are doing it, get on a clarity call. I'll tell you what to do instead, and we'll make a plan for you to make the shift you need in your relationship with your child now before it's too late. The first thing parents do that backfires is they try to explain to their kiddo, their deep feeling kiddo, why they shouldn't do the thing they're doing. They explain, they use logic. If anybody's heard of love and logic parenting, great for some kids. Great for parenting some kids. Not necessarily for deep feeling kids. When parents try to apply logic to a child who is deeply overwhelmed by their feelings, who's very feelings motivated, and often gets stuck in that, then a couple things are going to happen. They're going to just want you to be quiet and go away because they can't take it in. They're going to feel not understood and not seen by you. And then the result of that is they don't tell you things anymore. They're not open to you because they know you're not meeting them with the kind of support they need. Sound familiar? Say yes if it sounds familiar. If it's ever happened to you, you can tell I'm not reaching them. We're missing each other. There's a disconnect here. And now I'm scared, I'm worried because my intuition is telling me I'm losing this kid. Then what happens? You get anxious and you try to grab on harder. And what do? They push you farther away. You guys following the pattern? This is a dangerous pattern. You don't want to lose your kid. You don't want to lose your kid. You need to learn how to do it differently. Okay? The second thing parents do, this big mistake that backfires every time, is correcting the behavior. So, hey, not like that. Don't do it that way. That's not okay. Or in whatever way that you say it that isn't necessarily bad. But for a deep feeling child, they will experience that like times 10, where you might say this is your second born child and you had great success with doing it this way with your firstborn. Well, it's a different rule book with a deep feeling child. You need a different kind of roadmap, an approach that includes and accounts for the way that they are wired, okay? So They're going to hear your correction as a criticism. And what they're going to get from that is, I'm not doing it right. I am not good enough for you. They're going to feel it on a feeling of this. They can't tell you this because they don't know this, you guys. I'm just telling you what I know from doing this deep emotional work with families for 20 years. A child will experience your criticism, your behavior correction as rejection. Again, anyone here in the room had this happen to them as a kid? Of course you have. If you're a highly sensitive person, if you are a deep feeling grown-up kid, that part of you still remembers what it was like to feel like left behind, like emotionally kind of not understood or even rejected. You may have been aware of that. Then you had to push your feelings down. You couldn't be who you were fully. It wasn't allowed in your family. Those patterns are going to automatically come up in you as a mom. They're going to automatically lead in tough parenting moments. Why? Because they are the most familiar, okay? So we're going to go into what's the most familiar. It's going to spill out, and it spills out when we don't have a real plan, when we haven't created a new plan, when we don't know what is the right thing to be saying or doing for this very special kiddo. And deep feeling kids are amazing. I love them so much. What you get is so much bigger and more than other kids, which is very hard when you don't really understand who they are, because you're just getting the brunt of it. You're kind of getting the tough end of it when you don't know, how do I manage these behaviors? How do I address them? How do I teach my kid how to fit into this world without killing the relationship? When you do understand where your child's words and actions and emotions are coming from, and you can help them to understand that, what you get is so bright and so big. Their light shines so big and so bright. Their gifts are just more. In the same way that the challenges feel like more, their gifts are usually equally intense, meaning special, meaning amazing, meaning you get to have and know this very special kid. If you're in a place where you're like, I know that that's the case, but I'm not getting there. I don't know how to access that. There's a disconnect. Obviously, my kid is like shutting me out. Let's talk about solutions, okay? So instead of correcting their behavior and shutting down the connection, you can tell them what you want them to do instead. That simple. Tell them instead what you'd like for them to do, okay? What I'd like for you to do is this. All right. They may or may not be able to do it, but tell them what you want instead, okay? Stay away from criticism. Rule number 1. That will promote connection. It will promote acceptance on both sides of each other, and it will promote the relationship, okay? So this gives them kind of the step you want them to follow, and it does require you to know what that is. All right, so you got to know what that is. And if you're kind of so deep in overwhelmed brain, you probably aren't even clear on that. So you got to get clear on that, okay? But that kind of takes us to the bigger thing that needs to happen here. So real change will come when your child understands how to handle their emotions. Everything's going to settle down. And the only way for your child, while they're under your roof, to understand themselves better and their behaviors, why they do them, the emotions underneath, the only way for them to understand that better while they live with you is if you first learn how to understand what's going on for your child. That's it. We can't ask something of them we can't do as an adult, right? So As for how to do that, there is a roadmap I have created. It is a 4-step plan, and I'm going to be laying it out on November 12th and 13th. It's a brand new workshop. It's live. This one is free, probably the only time I'm going to run it free. So get in now if you want access to this. It's called 4 Steps to End Emotional Outbursts with Your Deep Feeling Child or Teen. Okay? And I want you to, do not hesitate. Just go ahead and register and sign up. I'm going to drop a link for you guys down below me in the comments. So get on board with that one. Sign up now. We're going to walk on Zoom live through the plan. So the exact 4 steps. And these are developed through 20 years of me helping families with kids like this. And I can tell you right now that what is in the mass consciousness, traditional parenting, even the newer, more connected parenting, gentle parenting, love and logic, these are all great things, but not specific to deep feeling kids. And so if you're applying these techniques and they're not working, and you realize that you're having some worries that you're going to lose your kiddo, or your kiddo is going to go completely off the rails, they're spiraling out, you don't know how to stop the outbursts and reconnect with them or help them to calm down, this is the workshop to be at, okay? So book into the workshop, grab your spot, reserve it. You'll get all the details in your email, and then go ahead and book your clarity call. If you haven't worked with me before, book your call. We will identify the biggest challenge you're having, and then we will shift into focusing on what is the one main thing you want to move with them. What's the goal you want to achieve? And I will help you to make a really clear, concrete plan for that, okay? Love you guys so much. I want you all to succeed. I want you to feel like amazing mothers. I want you to feel in tune with your kids. I want them to be open with you. I want you to have beautiful communication and connection and understanding and closeness with your kiddo. And I want you to have that kind of freedom that comes from having that relationship with your kid. And as a mom, what's in it for you? Freedom of knowing you're doing an amazing job with your kid, and the freedom that comes when your kiddo is doing well. There's nothing like having the freedom that comes from your kiddo doing well, making great friends, doing well in school, doing homework without drama at home, being able to rest, wind down at night, not having arguments about everything. That's freedom for you. So go ahead and register, get on the list, share with friends. I'll drop the link below. We go live November 12th, and I want everybody here to be, if you need this, to be on the list and to be there. Okay. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.